Today I'm going to show you how to make what I call ice tray bites. So basically these are bite-sized little hamburgers, sandwiches, all that. They're perfect and a perfect appetizer for a party or get together. They're just tiny bite size. Now you want to start with an ice cube tray. So this was another inspiration video I've had pinned for a long time, and finally for New Year's I thought, you know what, let's just make them. And so it definitely was something we learned a lot in doing it, but this is one I would for sure make again. They were so delicious. They turned out so good. The biggest thing is the trays. So in the video that where I got the idea from, they used silicone molds, and those are definitely ideal, but I had a hard time finding any silicone molds where the compartments were big enough to do these sandwiches in. And these ice cube trays, those each little tray, each ice cube mold, whatever, is the perfect size, really, and that's the size you want these to be. But if you can find a silicone tray like that, that's probably going to be more ideal. But it's okay for this. It worked. They weren't as pretty as the one in the video, but that's okay. They tasted great. And like I said, we'll for sure make these again. They were so good. Everybody ate them all, and we had no leftovers whatsoever. That's when you know it's really good, right? So basically, and this is a great recipe that kids can do. It's super, super easy, and it's a fun hands-on. You just want to measure your pizza dough. So this is store-bought refrigerated pizza dough. Measure it according to the size of your tray, your ice cube tray. I cut it with a pizza roller, and simple, easy. And then you're just going to push the dough down into each compartment. This takes a little bit of time and finessing, because sometimes you push one down and the one next to it comes out. So you're just stretching the dough into each compartment. This is great for kids to do. Very simple and easy, kind of like playing with Play-Doh, right? And so I'm going to do the second one here. I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch it in regular time motion. But you can do as many trays as you want, and you know, that's the beauty of this, is they're all bite-sized. If you only have one tray, you can literally fill it up, dump it out, and fill it up again. So it's not, we're not going to bake them in these trays. We're literally just using the trays to mold it into the shape we want. And you'll see later how we get them out of the trays. So what I wanted to do for this first batch was hamburgers. So we're starting with our ground beef. Now, this is raw, uncooked ground beef. That's totally fine because it's going to cook when we put it in the oven. All of ours cooked perfect, and I'm one of those people that I don't like to see any pink in my hamburger or steak. So, and these were perfect. They cooked beautifully and had lots of flavor. So don't worry about that as far as putting the raw meat. Now, and I filled mine pretty full. I like my hamburgers and stuff to be a little bit more on the meaty side. You get more protein, right? And so I filled them up pretty good. Now, nobody's going to see inside these. They're just going to be little bites. And they don't have to look pretty, but it's just what you want. Now, for this, I did cheddar cheese. You could do whatever flavor cheese is. It's really whatever you like on your hamburger. If you like cheese, don't put it in. If you want provolone, mozzarella, you know, whatever, pepper jack, whatever kind of cheese you want. I was going to do 2 different cheeses on these, but then I thought, nah, I had the cheese out, and I'm like, oh, I'll just put cheddar cheese on both of them. That's kind of a classic cheeseburger topping, right? Now, doing the 2 trays, I wanted to do them slightly different, but we all love pickles. Dill relish, I found this dill relish was the best way to go to get that pickle flavor, which without a huge chunk of pickle, right? Because they're tiny sandwiches. They're just little bites, and so you don't want a huge chunk of pickle. And so if you do like pickle, try this dill relish. And I found, I mean, squirting them in out of the container was great, but a spoon really helped me to kind of divvy them out a little bit, because even with a container, sometimes it's hard to manage and control the amounts that are going into each one. But that's okay. Like I said, nobody's going to see inside these, so I just got a spoon enough to divvy it out amongst all of them. And even though I'm doing these 2 separate hamburgers, I realize, I'm like, you know what? We all love pickles, though. So I'm just going to put the pickle relish in both of them. And so they both have the pickles. Now, I like bacon on my burgers. My husband's not as big of a fan of bacon as I am. So I just did bacon bits. These are just the pre-cooked bacon bits from Costco. And so I put those in one side. The other one, we did mustard and ketchup. Classic cheeseburger, right? Ketchup, mustard, pickle, cheese, and your meat. So this was a classic cheeseburger for this one. The other one with the bacon, I did fry sauce. Now, if you're not from Utah, you may be like, what the heck is fry sauce? Fry sauce is basically ketchup and mayo mixed. It's really, really good, delicious. If we're having it for like French fries or something, sometimes I'll mix in some Montreal steak seasoning, and it's really good to dip your fries in. Why it's called fry sauce, but it's good on hamburgers as well. Now you do the top. This is where, not so pretty. This takes a little bit more practice and finessing. But you basically just put a top layer of the dough to cover each pocket. Now, I did parchment paper just to help reduce the mess on my cookie sheet. Flip it over and do your best. This is where a silicone mold definitely would have helped out, because you could push the back of each compartment and literally push the sandwiches out. So this definitely took a little bit more finessing, because that dough really wanted to stick in each one. So my individual sandwiches weren't as fine as it would be maybe if I had a silicone mold. Like I said, this is something that it's going to take practice, but this was our first time doing it, and we love it. We'll definitely do it again. You want to brush, this is just beaten eggs. So a couple of eggs, I beat them with a fork really good, and do an egg wash on top and pop them in the oven. All right, so now I'm going to do my next flavor. So it was at this one that I realized, hey, I've got this extra long part at the top. When it comes time to do the top layer, I can just flip it over. And I realized, oh, that's actually a really good idea. And so, and part of it is just figuring out how much dough you have and stretching it and making it work. But this is when I realized it was stretching already. Rather than push it down in, I'll just leave the excess on the top and flip that over the top when I need the top layer. The first one, I guess my camera wasn't on, but I cut up just some fish fillets and put those in. Again, these are just like the frozen ones you get. These, we had defrosted them, but not cooked them. So they weren't fully cooked. And divvied them out. And then I made homemade tartar sauce. Tartar sauce is really easy to make. Basically, it's just mayonnaise, dill relish, and lemon juice. Or you can use sweet relish if you prefer. Super easy to make homemade tartar sauce. So I've got a fish fillet and a little bit of tartar sauce. If you want, you could do some diced onions in there. But since we had, kids that were going to be eating these, I figured rather than listen to their weeping and wailing about onions, we just would skip it this time. So again, not super pretty, but hey, it's covered. This last one I did chicken patties. These are just breaded, frozen, I think they're like Tyson brand chicken patties. I cut them up so they were in wedges where they would fit in each compartment. And I think I had 8 slices per patty. So this was only 2 really. Or maybe it was 4 slices per patty. No, I think it was 8. Anyhow, cut up them just so they fit. Mayonnaise. This is, if you go, and if you're an 80s kid, you probably remember Chicken Littles from KFC. They kind of tried to bring them back, but it's just not the same. But Chicken Littles, that's basically what they were, was a chicken patty and mayonnaise. And sometimes they had a little bit of lettuce on them, and sometimes a pickle. So I miss it. It's nostalgic, right? But for these, I thought it'd be good to add a little bit of cheese. So this is just provolone cheese. Again, I'm just breaking it up into pieces enough to fit in there, and they're good to go. And I just pull the top over. Once I had done that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I should have been doing all the time. But that's okay. You're going to learn as you make these. You'll learn a little bit more. And again, just pull them out, pop them on the next tray. And then you want to make sure that we do the egg wash. Like I said, this would be so much easier with the silicone mold, but it's okay. They weren't pretty, but they sure tasted good, and they were gone. People didn't mind how they looked when they tasted how good they were. Again, you want to brush an egg wash on top. This is what gives them that shiny golden texture on the top. This adds vision in other regards. And there you go. So put them in the oven about 350 degrees. I think they took around 20 minutes. Just kind of keep an eye on them. Cut them in sections. Kind of reminds me of like raviolis. You have like almost your individual raviolis are the same. They're perfect little bite-sized sandwiches for a party. And they were so good. And because you had the variety, each each 2 rows was a different type. And so we had, if you like bacon, you get sauce or ketchup and mustard, or chicken sandwich, or if you want a sandwich. And we just served them because it was just our family. We just ate them off there, but you could easily pop. And here's the chicken and the fish ones. You could easily pop them off and put them on a little serving tray for a party, something like that. They were like the perfect size appetizer, though. I can't say enough how much we really, really did. And we will be making them again. Really, this guy will make. You could do some chicken cordon bleu. You could make so many variations of these. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy our ugly mess, but it's ugly delicious that I call it, and variations you make and how it works. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.